Welcome back and thank you for joining us again on another episode of Daybreak Africa, where we bring you interesting topical issues. I am Kareen, Edet. So on our today's episode, we'll be considering oil refining in Nigeria, assessment of the petroleum industry, challenges and ways forward to fostering development. And in the studio today, we have a public affairs analyst by the name Ijeh Felix, and we trust that he'll do justice to today's topic. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
Good morning, welcome to Daybreak Africa, Felix.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you today.
And then I guess it's been a while actually having you.
Yeah, it's the challenges of the society.
Indeed.
You don't have to look one side. You have to move from one end to the other. I think it's nice we discuss this issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, on the issue, Nigeria is said to have lost $4 billion to oil theft in 2021, $1.5 billion so far in 2022, and lost $1 billion directly to oil theft between January and March just this year. Now, I want us to actually use this period to actually attack two questions exactly, talking about mismanagement. Now, I guess mismanagement was one of the challenges that the federal government had to the point where they had to actually sell out NNPC, and then the issue of oil theft. Personally, I was thinking that oil theft would actually come to an end since it's been sold out to public, ensure that everybody has a share. I mean, the share was expected to be our 200 million shareholders, and all that. So why are we still having issues of oil theft? Now I'm talking about pipeline, but that is it. We'll go to that just later. But what's your take on mismanagement generally, and the oil theft is still ongoing? I mean, in billions of dollars.
The oil theft in Nigeria is actually endemic. It is disturbing and distorting to the economy. The reason is that Nigeria will depend mainly, our revenue base mainly is from oil revenue. And the corrupt tendency of the different persons who are in charge is also affect us seriously. Institutional failures also affect us seriously. Then majorly is because of pressure of restiveness within the oil producing areas. Definitely people will look for a way to any loophole at all to catch into that in order to bring out oil. It has been, if you check the time series details about oil theft in Nigeria, over the years it has been increasing until this man Tompolo was invited to help, but himself, he was part of it. He's still part of it. He understands the environment. So asking him to take charge made them to unravel some of the pipes that they attached to the major pipeline. So there are a lot of issues around oil theft. Oil theft is a major thing. It has become a political stealing, then social or cultural stealing. Cultural stealing in the sense that people within the oil producing areas, they see that as a means of livelihood. So once you are within the oil producing area, it's like there is no how you will not be rich. If you're a young man and you understand your way. So understanding your way means stealing oil. Then politically, once you are appointed and you have any portfolio close to petroleum, you're already rich. And how do you become rich? It's still stealing, it's theft. Or apart from that, even security or security men, once you are assigned to that area too, you will come out very rich. Cumulatively, everybody, directly or indirectly, they are stealing. Both those ones that are supposed to safeguard the oil, they are stealing from it. Those ones that are within the communities will have to steal from it. Those ones that are even coming for maintenance, maintenance engineers, checking the gauge, they help in one way or the other, aligning with oil thieves in order to adjust the flow meter so that they'll be able to get their share from there. So there are a lot of different ways and means through which we lose oil. As at today, that is why it's always very difficult for Nigeria to say exactly the quantity of crude that they produce. What is the quantity you produce? What is the quantity you sell? And as long as you're unable to ascertain what you sell, because in a month you can sell maybe assuming you sell about 60,000 barrels, 6 million barrels for the period. The next period, it will drop to about 2 point something or 3 point something. What is the cause? The difference is oil theft. Oil theft is not just it's not just a minor thing. The oil theft we are talking of is not people that steal it with jerry cans, like those ones that they catch within the Niger Delta zone, those ones that steal a little that they refine and they sell the environment. That is not the oil theft. We have the mega oil thieves who use trucks to convey over 33,000 liters of crude that will be on the road. Yet all security agents will see them and those ones will pass through. Then what of the ones that will go through the ship? A very large cargo ship carrying crude. So it's actually a major problem. We will keep losing it, even if petroleum sector has been privatized. As long as the ownership is not more of people within the environment, then those ones within the environment will fight to make sure that they have benefits. Especially if the place is just an area where extraction takes place without developing the same place. If you don't return back from where you collect, then those people around there will fight you. So gradually, oil theft has come to stay, and we just pray that with the new administration, with the proper control, I mean the control system, including the audit system in the oil sector, then proper channelization of the oil pipes, and maintenance, continuous maintenance. Because when we are talking of oil theft, it is when there is loophole, that is when stealing becomes easier. So imagine where pipeline that anybody can easily go to the pipeline and bore hole there to siphon oil. The pipeline is not supposed to be a light pipeline, but over time, because of corrosion, it becomes very weak, that people easily have access to it. We've been losing a lot from oil, and until we remove our eyes, gradually start removing our eyes from oil and start talking of other sectors of the economy where we can generate income, we will continue to.
The thing is, the privatization actually came with a lot of promises. Because I could remember the previous president, Mahmoud Buhari, he really made lots of promises, and that made Nigerians actually accept privatization with open arms. But as it stands, I don't think it's really meeting up that promises.
Privatization is not something that will just happen and the benefit will just start coming immediately. Is a long-term project that is privatized. Once it's privatized, then the different value chain, to earn from the different value chain, you will need to overhaul a lot of things. That you buy an almost dead horse does not mean that you have a free ride. You have to carry the horse for rehabilitation, and once the horse is being rehabilitated, then you train the horse to suit your purpose. So it's going to take some time before we start having the full benefit of the privatization. I'm not even talking of privatization alone, but the Petroleum Industry Act. The act per se and the beauty of the act over time, that's when we'll start getting it. Though another major challenge is that you talk of who are the investors, who are the major investors, who are the stakeholders, the oil blocks, who owns it. Then are we refining? What do we do with the crude? Do we just remove it? You saw what happened in Ijeh Republic. What cost it? Because somebody is coming to pick and just leave without adding much value. And even if it's privatized, even if the policy hand it over to somebody else, that person will also face some challenges until there is a rejig of the entire control system, and also a look back on the benefit that the people will have over time. People are feeling cheated. Therefore, for you to say you have sold to another person and you have not considered people around that environment, then it will take time for the new owners to liaise with the PROs, the youths, the leaders of the community, to come up with a better strategy and maintenance approach that both of them will agree to. If not, it's going to actually take some time.
Okay, so earlier on you made reference to some sectors and probably some bodies being involved in the oil thefts, and now you've made mention of investors, people coming in to pick and not actually, giving in much. So, can we say this is as a result of mismanagement, or just nobody cares about what's happening?
I think mismanagement is there, and apart from that, ownership, taking ownership of the investment. A lot of people actually invest in oil sector. They are interested in the profits. They are not much interested in social re-engineering of the people. Social re-engineering means transforming the life of the people around there. Just like if you are putting up something, they assume that they've invested heavily in the blocks. They've invested heavily in the business, that they need to get profit. And apart from that, the people that are working, there are very few working in the oil sector, and their earning is actually very large. Then eventually coming to invest, they don't look more on people around that is supposed to ordinarily help them in protecting their investment. I think is something that people need to rethink, that where you are doing business, you should not allow that place to grow bushy. You should clear the place always, so that it will not invite rodents or some other things that will even cause problem for you. So mismanagement is there. Institutional failure is there. It's because of the institutional failure of the NNPC and all the government parastatals within the oil sector. That is why we have heavy oil theft. For instance, you have a Dangote coming up with his refinery. Let's watch and see if there will be oil theft. There won't be, because that is private. He, first of all, before you start producing, he will talk of internal audit and checks. And whoever that is found wanting, the person will leave immediately. But in a system where there is no punishment for offenders, then those ones that obey the law become defiant. That is, they differ from what is the norm in the society. For you to be in the oil sector and is owned by the government, just like today, if suddenly they hear that you are made a member of committee in NNPC or any of the petroleum related units, your community will gather to celebrate. Yes, big thing is coming. But if they check your salary cannot even take care of your family alone, but the whole community will be on you, and you are going to feed them. So if you are working in Dangote refinery, then you are made maybe the head of the unit, your community will not come to celebrate, because they know it's a private entity, and there's going to be a lot of checks and balances. So you have the opportunity to steal. So failure of our institutions cause a major problem for us. The failure to know what to do, failure to maintain the environment, failure to institute proper checks and balances and to follow it up to the letter, failure to prosecute those ones that erred in it, and failure to pay proper remuneration to people that are working within the value chain.
Talking about institutional legalities, in the previous administration, President Buhari actually was more like the minister, if not he was the Minister of Petroleum. Literally, he was the Minister of Petroleum. And he actually paid more attention to that sector. And now still having issues or challenges as to institutional irregularities around. Was it that people involved in the oil theft was more than him as a person?
Did he actually, I will not allow you to finish up, did he actually pay much attention to
being the Minister of Petroleum, it was
himself as a minister, may not even know a lot of things in it, because he's waiting at the end. It will pass through whatever agreement will pass through stages before it will get to him, before he will sign off. But there are a lot of leakages along. Those leakages he may not know. If you are the president and you are the petroleum minister, there is only little you can know. Only little. So it would have been better somebody else handle it, because you can't handle the portfolio of the president and at the same time the portfolio of a ministry that is a major revenue tap to the economy. So it's just like you feeling that, for instance, the former petroleum ministers, you see how they became bigger than the president. Then the president said, no, I don't want to do that. Let me let me be there. But instead of being there, then they should institute proper checks, so that anybody that enter there will know that he's sitting on gunpowder if he or she misbehaves. You know, you can't say that Buhari had proper eyes on the petroleum sector. What of when he's not around? Even when he's around, how often is he visiting the petroleum, that is the refineries? How often is he visiting the different areas? I'm not even talking of the presidency. What of the checks and balances that is supposed to come from the House of Reps and the House of Reps and the Senate? Because each of them have committees that oversee activities there. But instead of them going there to oversee, to correct the wrongs, when they get there, they enrich themselves too. And by the time you are offered juicy envelopes, then whatever you come to check, you may not even check properly. Those are the challenges that we're having. So let me drive down to, when I say institutional failures, it is not only the minister. We talk of the chairman, the NNPC, we talk of people that work at different levels there, then we talk of the value chain, those ones within the extraction sector, those within the distribution sector, then those ones that manage pipeline activities, those ones that are into maintenance. All of them have different levels of checks that they are supposed to carry out. And these checks, until they are properly handled, the institution will continue to fail. Let me give an instance. You are here now. We are discussing. Is the owner of the establishment here with us? He's not. So, but a lot of blames will go to him. But at the lower levels, activities there is supposed to be continuous checks. Even to he may not even know what is happening now. But if there is a problem, they will call him first. So just like saying they call the president. Even when I'm hungry, I will now say Tinubu's economy is bad. Tinubu may not even know whether I've eaten or not. He does not know what we are doing. So it's not the minister, but the chain of supervision and control within the ministry.
Okay, so on the issue of checks and balance, I mean, it's a call for concern, because over time we see that not just in the oil sector now, in other sectors too, we see that when it's government related, I mean, it seems to be neglected. People don't really pay attention. And you hear words like, after all, it's a government-owned thing, or it's a government company. I mean, is this as a result of trusts? I mean, people not trusting the government because they think, okay, they are not, if they themselves are not concerned, why should we be? Is it as a result of that, or there are other factors related to it?
No, when we say government is ourselves, myself and yourself. Okay. For those ones that are having the feel of the government, they protect the government. Before 1960, before 1970, when you see Nigerian flag, you stand up and salute. But now, if they give you Nigerian flag, you will slap the person. Why? There is change of attention from the corporate governance of the country away from the people. So you have a line now, the leaders are boss, then others, they can do anything. Imagine what happened recently. All of us are crying that there's no money, Yet there is supply of heavy jeeps to reps. Some other countries are kicking against it, but Nigeria, we say we want to tighten our belt, but we are loosening for others. So once you are in government, you are seen as a different person. For every nation, you talk of the beauty of a country is the value they add to the people. If they are not adding value, that country will lose the conscience of being a country from the mind of the people. Now, the government is supposed to come up with policies to revamp the system. Nobody is saying that government should come and invest. At least come up with policies that will keep things in check so that investment can come up. Government talk of providing for the needy. When I say the needy, there are some people that don't have the capacity. You provide healthcare, provide at least education to a little primary, secondary. Then people start feeling the government. There are actually some states in the country today that people feel the government. I can remember there was a time in Lagos State, if you want to do anything, say, if Fashola catch you Fashola is not everywhere, but policies in place to control activities. If you do anything, let Fashola catch you. And actually, if you misbehave, Fashola will catch you. But Fashola is not there. But the rules are there. And once you are caught, you'll be punished for that. So once policies are in place and the institutions are working properly, then government, the country, will have its name back. Because we have actually lost it. If people can prefer to leave the country to a war-torn country because they feel is safer for them, that means the war in Nigeria is worse than those ones outside. I didn't just mention it for mentioning sake, because even in Ukraine, when the war started, people were paying. They want to pay 500,000 to register so that they will carry them to Ukraine to go and fight for Ukraine. When people, a lot of them were interviewed, you know what they said? They said it is better they go and fight there. If they die, they know that they died there. They will still pay them. If they live, they will survive and live a good life. But here, there is no hope. So, but we should not be living in hopelessness. Nigeria can still bounce back. We'll keep on doing the little we can. Then let them come up with policies. Then individuals, private investors should look around themselves. Whatever will develop an economy is within where you stand. Your own economy, develop your own economy. I will develop my economy. Over time, Nigerian economy will become more robust.
I was talking about policies and regulations. You were one of the persons I know for one that actually believed that the fuel subsidy removal. In fact, you spoke vehemently for it.
Yes, I still believe in it.
Up to date, I don't want to know if you're considering what has been happening and how things has not exactly been as initially envisioned by citizens, and maybe from what you said. If we play back to what we discussed in the past, I have been saying subsidy removal is the best thing that can happen. But I still remember that when we discussed here, I think immediately after President Tinubu took over, that the first statement he made was to say subsidy is gone. When I came here, I said that was a very, very wrong one. And even before then, I've also continued to explain that if you want to remove subsidy and you just yank it off, there is a tax on the people. And when the tax is too heavy on them, there is going to be a collapse of the system or a revolt. And that is exactly what is happening. When we talk of subsidy, over time, I think we have different series we discussed it. Subsidy removal is supposed to be gradual. It's not something that you just remove. It's a very heavy tax on everybody. And you cannot just say you are removing immediately without having a replacement by way of refining or having a good plan, so that even when people fall, they will have a cushion effect so that they will be able to bounce back. It was a wrong one for the president to just announce suddenly. The announcement effect, I keep on repeating, the announcement effect has major economic impact on Nigeria than the productive capacity. But our productive capacity is very low. Imagine oil capacity production falling from 33,000 barrels per day. Abi, is it 33,000 or 33 million barrels? I don't know. Falling all the way to about 6. Meaning that we have lost a lot of grip in refining. We don't have refineries. We should be talking of, first of all, what do we do to let our refineries start producing again? Then as we are producing, we start seeing tractions. Then we start removing subsidy. Then apart from that, Dangote says he will start very soon, but it's not just an easy task. Till today he's here to start. I noticed we have had so much dependence on Dangote refinery. Is this supposed to be? Of course,
we have heavy dependence because the facility is supposed to give us about 650,000, whereas the whole refineries within the country cannot give us up to 200 or 300 or something. So that is a mega one.
I think
even Nigeria also invested in it.
I think Nigerians are more interested if the refinery actually starts working, will it actually bring an ease to the oil price, the pump price? It will
not significantly. It will, but it will not be significant. It will give impact. There will be a relationship, but the relationship will not be very significant because it's a private person and it's a businessman. So for a businessman, you don't expect him to feed the nation. is not doing business to share to everybody. It's supposed to be, we discussed it before, let modular refineries start coming up. Government should talk of those ones that are able to refine locally, even within the South. They should call them, organize seminar for them, instead of waiting for a fight and saying you gather them, you want to go and rehabilitate them, send them to other countries for education, at the end you will not give them job. Why not gather those ones refining? Please come. If you want to buy crude, because we are still selling crude to people outside, if you want to buy crude, we can sell to you, apply officially. If you want to give anybody within the country that want to buy locally, should be attended to first before it's taken outside to sell to others, because the crude is within us here. It's even cheaper. You don't need transportation much. They will let them collect it. If they want to refine, tell them to start a factory, then send people to go and audit, supervise, and make sure that it's standard. If it's not standard and you know what they can do, then they can be financed. Is it not better to finance somebody that have an idea than for you to say you want to share money to people? If you share money to me, of what value? Now, food inflation has gotten to 26, 27. When it was 18, we were crying. Then we are, I keep on saying that it's going up further. It's going on. I think it's still going on continuously. As long as we are not producing, we are the mercy of those ones we are importing from. And those ones we are importing from, they are not our fathers and mothers. So when they want to sell, they will put in their price in order to feel fine. Unfortunately, we in Nigeria here, we are living for those areas. You know, where money goes, people will go there. If you come to my house, you carry all the money I have, take it somewhere. I will leave my house. I will go and stay there where you take the money to. So that I will look for a way to bring it back. That is why people are going out. They are going out to see how to survive, send money home. But the lifespan of a man, before you are able to send home to sustain, you would have gotten to an age that you will not be able to do much. So the circle of a man, it becomes a dependency circle. If you think that you want to go out and until you keep on bringing, because by the time you come back, you'll be very old and you'll not be useful to yourself and the society and your family. You will think that you want to enjoy what you have brought in, but what exactly have you brought in when you cannot really enjoy it at the old age because you have worked your ass out? There is what is called intergenerational activities, things we do now that affect our generation to come, how we manage our things that affect our generation to come. So like now, a lot of borrowings that we are having, it may be funny when you are getting it, when the government says we want to borrow in order to give to the people to cushion effect. It's not correct. How on earth will you say I'm a family man, my children, I want to give them money to go and eat, I'll go somewhere to borrow it and give them to eat? I should be looking out for, let's see what we can do. There is farmland, I will buy cutlass. That is me, I will provide something. Let me buy cutlass for you. If I borrow, let me borrow to buy cutlass and show you portion of land to clear, so that when we are clearing, we may be hungry. Then when those ones sprout, then there will be food in future. It should be a better thing. If you are borrowing and you keep on borrowing, we are borrowed to the extent that our income, we have overseeded our income. We have exceeded our income, I mean. Our total expenditure on food consumption, a lot of people are, in Economist we call it marginal propensity to consume. Our marginal propensity to consume in Nigeria has gotten far above 70 to 80%, which is sad, very, very sad. That means for every income you have, more than 70 to 80% of them will go to food only. Then how do you handle all other things? It's a kind of circle of poverty. Borrowing in poverty is trying to strangulate yourself, because there will be a time the heavy burden of that debt, you won't be able to cope with it. Even when they sell you, you cannot pay back for what you borrow. It's unfortunate, and I pray that our government will realize that now. Even when we are borrowing, they should be talking of the impact, the effect it will have. The effect it will have should be a major thing. I become very sad most of the time when I keep on saying that we'll keep on borrowing. If we borrow and we are financing education, where brains will be developed is better. But when you leave education to private hands, then people that are supposed to go to school will not be able to go, is a problem. As at now, some levels in Nigeria, they've removed them from doing certain professions. If you are a middle income earner, it's difficult, or a low income earner, it's difficult for your children to do medicine, to do nursing, to do pharmacy, to do law. There are some courses that they can never try, even if they're intelligent. So it's a kind of breeding circle of poverty. And those ones that are being trained by those ones that have higher income now, they are training them to go elsewhere to work. They are not training them for Nigeria. We are losing a lot, brain drain. We are losing a lot. We are not checking our environment. Our soil, arable land is there, but because there is no support, we find it very difficult to go to the land to work. Before now, we were taught in schools how to generate compost in order to bring manure. Then we have factories, that we have places where we produce fertilizer to nourish the soil. Then we have land where they do shifting cultivation. But now, because of population, there is no place they practice shifting cultivation again. Now it's just simple rotation. Then after that, then we are now back to continuous cultivation on same piece of land without adding back all the crops, all the fruits we are getting it from the soil. Nothing is going back to the soil easily. And management of our refuse too also cause another problem. A lot of things we remove, we don't know how to recycle properly. Thank God for different recycling companies that are coming up. So it's a hydra-headed problem.
Actually, this kind of situation actually make me want to wonder if we actually have experts, in various fields occupying places in government. Because I think advice as this, what experts actually give the government or their various sectors. And is it safe at this point to say the government are not really interested in investing into the sector, the oil sector particularly, in funding and other ways? Are they really interested in just what they could get out of the sector and not actually what they could actually invest into it?
I think governments, they are demonstrating interest, but corruption is also affecting. For the past 4-5 years, less than 5 years, they spent over 11.5 trillion in maintenance of the refineries that are not producing. So every year, yes, every year there is a budget, and this budget is expended on maintenance of refineries. Then what is the output from that refinery? What's the capacity? Are they producing to capacity? They won't produce. Where is it? Then where is the income we are getting from there? Because of those questions, that is why they talk of privatizing and at the same time coming off of the petroleum industry bill. So corruption is a major one. We have policies, very good one. We have the zeal, very good one. But at the time of implementation, then we start looking at the ball to punch holes in order to extract whatever we can extract, the national cake. And the system cannot function properly like that. A system can never function properly. Let me go back to petroleum, national output. As at now, the contribution of petroleum sector to gross domestic product is reducing. Attention is being taken away from non-renewable energy, which includes petroleum, the gas, non-renewable, is being going out from it gradually. People are focusing on renewable energies. How fast are we imbibing that culture of renewable energy? If you continue to harvest from a farm without replenishing the soil, there will be a time that you will labor in vain because nothing will come out. But if it is a renewable energy you are talking of now, like people are talking of tapping energy from the sun. Go to United Arab Emirates. They are already fixing a panel, solar panel in the air that is even covering even a whole community. The community is very cool because of the solar panel, and the solar panel serve a lot of people. Why is it that local governments, state governments cannot start thinking in that direction? All of us we are talking of, somebody mentioned, and that caught my attention, that every year we have our roads being worn away by erosion. This erosion is just flow of water, and every year we plan for overflow of water in the south. That means dam would have worked very well. And the electricity we are having is hydroelectric. Why can't we talk of developing dams so that water can flow? We use that to generate electricity. We should think in that direction so that we latch into it and use whatever we have available to solve the problem we have. So I think we are not thinking in those directions, or we are not taking advice. Again, for every economy, if they have issues, they are supposed to go to the university and ask them to research, then bring out whatever suggestions, whatever outcome of the research, they will read it and implement. How many times have our people, our leaders, the House of Assembly, the different research institutions, then the different bodies, institutions, how many of them have gone back to the universities to check out the outcome of the research? They don't even finance research activities properly. So you see Nigerians going into research for other countries, from the US, from the UK, from different countries. They call Nigerians for research. They carry out research even in Nigeria and send the result to them. They pay. So, but Nigeria will ignore it.
Now we're almost out of time, but quickly, you spoke something as regarding our laws, our policies, and our regulations generally. I think to wonder, has our laws been favorable so far? Do we actually have a compass of human dignity while actually making regulations in this nation?
Yeah, there's no perfect system. Our laws are to some extent okay, but the interpretation is another problem. That is where legality or illegality comes in. I mean the activities of the judiciary. So it's the interpretation. When interpretation of law is becoming clumsy, then law will not be obeyed. When interpretation of law is not made known and easy to people, obedience to that law becomes very difficult. Because in most cases, you see in Nigeria committing an offense, he will say, "What is my offense?" Because you don't know your offense. Then a policeman is coming to arrest you. "What is my offense?" He said, "Don't worry, when you get to the police station, I should know my offense. Even before I go to court, I should know the punishment that is attached to it. Not waiting until they pass through the law years and they will remind you." In that case, people feel that after all, if the highest thing they can do, they will put me in jail, I will come back later. So law, the policies are okay. Interpretation of the policies and making it available to the people becomes most important, so that obedience to the rule or to the policy will become easy. Policies are good. Any system without policy cannot function. But any system with policy that is not known to the people will also have problems.
Okay, so just like you said, that Nigeria will get better. So in the area of proper policy implementation, proper checks and balance and accountability, I mean, what would be your last words regarding these factors as far as this discourse is concerned?
Okay, I will say that we need a lot of orientation and orientation. We need our education system to look back into, one, we'll talk of our civil society and living together. It starts from civic in secondary schools and primary schools, understanding the law, understanding rules. And again, any policy of the government, it should be made known to all. We have constitution. A lot of people should know what is in the constitution, because as at now, families don't know what is in the constitution. Then we have a House of Rep. Before they make law, these laws, they should do public hearing, because they have representatives. They should bring it to the people. Whatever law that is coming up, they should have town hall meetings and discuss it so that they will know what to carry out. Again, in the petroleum industry, the policy should be properly streamlined so that people can participate, not just having it for few people that are already ready, who are going to be capitalists and be mounting pressure on the populace.
Okay. Thank you very much, Skin, for joining us on Daybreak Africa.
Thank
Hope
you
to
so
see
much.
you real soon. Maybe on this topic next time.
Again, yes.
All right,
okay, thank
viewers,
you.
you heard it all from Felix, Ijeh, an expert in economics, and I really believe at some point we really get to actually set this right, be it regulation-wise, law, and otherwise. And hopefully, a time will come where we'll see enough is enough for the issue or the challenges regarding oil theft in Nigeria. All right, that will be a wrap here from Ondo Studio. Handing over to Lagos Studio. We have so much more for you. I remain Ezekiel, Ogar.
And until next time, I'm Kareen, Edet.